Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Texas Hockey Podcast. My name is Trevor Neal. I am here with my co-host Travis Tyler. How are you doing, Travis? The off-season's officially here.
Yeah, I'm a little bored compared to most free agent days, but it's here and we got work to do.
Yes. So if we have any listeners north of the border, it's also Canada Day. So happy Canada Day. And Canada Day also means the beginning of NHL free agency. It's been a little bit since we recorded our last episode. We've had quite a bit going on in the NHL world. This week is kind of the transition into the new season, which, according to the contracts, officially starts today. So free agency opens. The Stars were one of the quieter teams, I would say, so far during the offseason, which is kind of what we expected. But I kind of want to wind a little bit back. The captain is back on a very, very team-friendly deal. 1 year, $1 million against the cap, right? That's how bonus contracts work. It's that's just called cap circumvention, is what bonuses are.
I believe it goes up to $3 million with the bonuses.
Yeah, it's like 3 or 4. It's in there.
Yeah, something.
But the number to fans, at least for now, like bonuses will hit the cap next year if there's not space for it. It's kind of complicated. But the number to remember right now is 1 by 1. Jamie Benn, it's looking like he's going to do everything in his power to remain a Dallas Star for life, and no one's complaining about having Jamie Benn on their team for just $1 million. It's
exactly.
Yeah, especially with how much uncertainty we've kind of had this offseason. We've had some really disappointing playoff losses over the last few years, and to get the uncertainty behind the Pete DeBoer firing, but it kind of felt like a little bit of a warm blanket. Jamie's staying, and it feels like a good moment just to kind of move on, but still kind of anchor into that. So great deal there. But kind of what we expected. I honestly thought he'd sign for a little bit higher than he did. 1 felt like a steal, and I think that conversation went, Jamie, we have no money. Do you want to play here still? And that's the number that worked.
I felt like that's the way it was going to go. I mean, a lot of people that I talked to, they're not really like sources within the team or anything, but they were saying, I feel like everybody's going to sign and then we're going to give Jamie whatever money's left. And that's kind of what they did. It just didn't happen in that order.
No, it happened in the polar opposite order. Yeah, it was like, let's get is Jamie just after Duchesne. It's been such a long kind of few days in the hockey world. Like Mason Marchment's no longer a Star. We traded him. He's in Seattle. So we've gone through some pretty drastic changes, but not really many of those changes came today. Free agency officially open, so it's usually this mad dash for who's ever available. And it was a significantly quieter July 1st than what we normally see. Just because I thought it'd be the opposite, because we're seeing this rising cap coming. I thought we'd see some players take short-term deals to try to capitalize on the rising cap, and a lot of movement happening. We did not get that. What we got was everybody deciding they want to re-sign for long-term contracts just before free agency opens. Notable guys, Mitch Marner, a sign and trade to the Vegas Golden Knights. You know how much I want to talk about that in detail, but this is Stars podcast. But I have some thoughts. You see Brock Besser deciding to stay in Vancouver on an absolute
that was a surprise
contract. Right? Like Vancouver
that was a huge surprise. He was gone.
Dumpster.
Everybody was saying he was gone. Yeah.
Yeah. He had said he was most likely gone. He was talking about Vancouver in the past tense. That's how surprising this contract was. And to get him at a steal, a big fish that I was looking at in this free agency as a Leafs fan was Brad Marchand, a guy that I thought for sure is going to hit the open market. He stays. Sam Bennett, who there's a chance he hits the open market. He stays. Like Florida's had an excellent few days here.
Florida pulled some cap voodoo or something, gymnastics, whatever you want to call it. They just went in there and they found a way to keep everybody when everybody said they could.
Yeah, no, before we get too much further, Jim Nill wins his third GM of the Year award, and I think Bill Zito has all but confirmed Jim will not be winning that next year with how this July 1st has gone in Florida. I mean, it looked like I was like, well, they could keep Marchand, but Bennett will be gone, or vice versa. And they're all still Panthers, and we all have to watch them probably make a deep playoff run next year.
Yeah, it sucks for us as two Eastern Conference fans.
Yes, the Eastern Conference is just Florida. It's been Florida since the pandemic.
Yeah, I was watching the NHL Network broadcast today, and they were like, well, it's Florida, and then everybody else in the Eastern Conference should go into a rebuild. So, that's how the Eastern Conference is. This show is more about the Western Conference.
Yes, it's this should have been the moment. Those are two guys who were. It's weird saying that Marchand was vital to who Florida was, but for that second Cup run, he really was. It felt like, okay, here's where it ends. Here's the moment where it all it fizzles out because Cap catches up with you. No, it did not. Everyone really wants to be a Panther and is willing to take those discounts. Brad Marchand signed until he's 43, so we're going to see how that looks.
The 6-year contract at 37 is wild. Absolutely.
It's going to be great for 2 years. And then once he hits, you mean to tell me that Brad Marchand's going to be like super effective at 43?
I mean, I don't even think Jágr got a contract like that.
No.
At that age. Yeah.
No, it's just wild to see. The Stars did make a handful of smaller moves that we're going to talk about today, but I think the real biggest news coming out of Dallas was not player related, but the Dallas Stars officially have a head coach. We are back. He is back. Glen Gulutzan is back as the head coach of the Dallas Stars. I was actually talking about this with my girlfriend the other day. She says to me out of the blue, like 12 hours before Gulutzan is rehired. She's like, I think it's weird that sports teams fire coaches and then continuously recycle them. Like, I fired my coach for being bad, so I'm going to get another guy who just got fired for being bad. Dallas hired a guy that Jim Nill has already fired once.
Yeah.
Which, it's different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when his name started coming up in this thing, I was like, there's no way they're actually going to go through with this. Right? Are they? Like, I get that he's been awesome with the Edmonton power play, but he wasn't good in Dallas the first time around, even though, there's circumstances around that were very, very different and absolutely horrible. And you talk to people that were around the team back then, they'll tell you no coach would have been successful in those circumstances.
No, because that was the beginning of Nill's tenure, correct? So we've seen a
very Nill wasn't even there.
I think Nill fired him when he first came in.
Yeah.
Different organization.
They had no ownership and a bad roster and terrible front office. I mean, pretty much no front office, obviously. It was hard for anybody to come in. But he wasn't that great in Calgary either, though. So that's the issue. So it's an underwhelming hire, I'd say, for what we were expecting or what people wanted. But the way that they were going about it, like the timing of everything and the way they were talking about it, it's not a total surprise either.
Yeah. I interpreted the last 2 days it's Neil Graham and it's Glen Gulutzan. Those are the final two. So I was like, okay, Neil Graham's going to be the head coach. Glen Gulutzan just made it far in the interview process. That's kind of how I interpreted that, because Neil Graham felt like the guy to step into that role. No. Glen Gulutzan is officially the head coach. And I've posted this on my socials like 3 times already because it is my favorite video in the history of hockey.
Calgary? Yeah.
Yes, the Glen Gulutzan video Calgary, where he's just berating his team. It's a morning skate. It's either a morning skate or a practice at the Saddle Dome in Calgary. And he's berating his team, just skating in a circle. And he chucks his stick up into the concourse. And I don't know why that video is stuck with. It's like a 6-year-old video. I don't think he's been a head coach since then.
Not since Calgary. No, he's been in Edmonton pretty much since then, I believe.
Yeah. I think it's really funny that we can't beat the Oilers, so we just hired them. I think that's a really funny move. But we're hiring a coach that we previously fired, so that is going to leave a bit of a sour taste in some longer tenured fans' minds.
Especially when Jim Nill in that press conference said he wanted to be careful about going backwards. Hiring a coach you previously fired, I kind of feels like a backwards move, even though it's 12 years later and he's got different circumstances and a bunch of different experience and more seasoning. But I mean,
it's a different coach than he was 12 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. But so I think Nill's earned the benefit of the doubt from 100%. Everything that he's done since he's been here.
If you're going to give any dude in the NHL benefit of the doubt, it's Jim Nill. We're talking a guy who's coming off of 3 straight GM of the Year awards, which is voted upon by other general managers. So these are people who know this game, and everyone in the league agrees that this guy's the best of the best. Have some trust. I don't hate this hire. I kind of wish
they could have done worse.
Yeah, we could. I mean, we were joking before. It could have been Mike Babcock. That's what I'm going to say to any angry Stars fan. You could.
It was never going to be, but yeah.
No, it was never going to be. But I think it's odd, and I'm wondering if you agree with me. Is it weird that Neil Graham is the assistant now? Is that
I don't think it's weird. I think that was expected. If they didn't hire him, it was expected that they were going to bring him in as an assistant coach. Get him some NHL experience because they consider him. I mean, the quote from Jim Nill today said that he was Gulutzan and Alain Nasreddin 6-7 years ago. So he's an up and coming coach that needs the experience on an NHL bench. I think he probably would have been the hire if he had some NHL experience.
That's probably the main reason they went to Gulutzan is just the guy
and
who
so
has a little bit more
it's
experience.
Also, like if you're into conspiracy theories, maybe they're Gulutzan chokes again, and they need to promote from within, and Graham's right there on the bench.
I actually thought that. I was like, this screams to me, if Glen Gulutzan gets fired, well, we have Neil Graham.
It's a built-in mulligan.
Yeah, no, it's a great backup plan. You have two, what I would say the Stars coaching staff has 3 capable head coaches. Because I think Neil Graham's capable of being a head coach. I have been saying for weeks, Alain Nasreddin's capable of being a head coach. And you've got Gulutzan. So there's a lot of great hockey minds behind that bench. Yeah.
There's also you also add in the fact that Neil Graham has coached a lot of the players that are now in this locker room and has relationships with them. When Gulutzan was here before, none of them were really around. Jamie Benn was. But that's about it.
And we talked about, as the season kind of progressed, the Stars power play was a little hit or miss at times last season. To bring in what seems to me from an outside perspective, a power play genius.
Yeah. Have you seen the numbers? Have you looked at the numbers
I've seen them
before he got there? They were dead last the year before he got there. They've been top 10 every year since he's been there.
Yeah. Which
first a lot of time.
Put a grain of salt on that because I feel like any power play that has Nugent Hopkins, Draisaitl, and McDavid should be top 5 without trying.
You and I could
to be able to turn that around.
That's successful with those guys.
I would go, hey guys, the power play's starting. Go out there. I wouldn't. They know what they're doing. they know what they're doing. But I think we'll see probably a looser power play. Really embrace those stars. Mikko Rantanen, I could see being very dangerous on a Glen Gulutzan-esque team. So I'm actually excited for this direction. I expect he'll be hopefully a little bit more adaptable than DeBoer was. I know that's something that Jim Nill spoke about kind of during this offseason is we need someone who's willing to adjust kind of on the fly a little bit more than DeBoer was because that team got stuck in the mud in the playoffs and couldn't get out.
Yeah,
and it's a fresh voice.
Yeah, it's a fresh voice, and I know you pointed at that video as kind of a negative, but at the same time, that's kind of the same. That's kind of the talking that the team needed when they were fizzling in the playoffs. They needed somebody to get on their ass and get them going.
Hockey is an extremely emotional game, and you will never see success in this sport if you're not 150% invested into the game emotionally, not just physically in how you're playing. So a guy like Gulutzan, who very obviously is very emotionally charged, at least was at the time. I haven't seen much of Gulutzan as an assistant. You don't hear as much about him, but it's obviously there. So I'm super excited to see what he does with this team going forward. But I think it's a show me the receipts hire. We can talk about it all we want here.
Yeah. You're going to find out if he's ready or not. Like, he's been 4th and 5th place in the division finishes.
Yeah.
Everywhere he's gone. Hasn't won a playoff game. He has a team that's much more capable than the teams that he's coached before. So you're going to find out if he's the kind of coach that could take them as far as they need to go right away.
Because he's realistically getting a team into next year, and we'll talk about it more as the episode goes on, that really isn't changing that much personnel-wise from last year. It's a fairly similar team, and this is a team that's got
similar makeup for sure.
Consecutive years. So if he falls short, it's going to stick out really, really quickly. Yeah. And you've got a guy like Neil Graham behind him with a little bit of, yes, it's AHL playoffs, but playoff experience is still playoff experience. Yeah. Taking the Texas Stars to the Western Conference Final and losing to Abbots for this past playoff. It's a show me the receipts hire. Yeah. We're going to know quick. Yeah.
If it starts slow, fans might not be so patient, and it might turn ugly quickly.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's gonna be a short leash with Gulutzan, at least
with the fans at least. Jim Nill probably won't give him that short of a leash, but he was part of a Red Wings front office that gave Dave Lewis the heave-ho pretty quickly. So
yeah,
there's that.
So and in the kind of piggyback off of
rightfully so, I should add. Rightfully so,
yes.
I should add.
Yes. But to kind of piggyback on what next year's team is going to look like, free agency was today. So we brought some players in. We're talking about a coach that we let go once before and have brought back. We did the same thing with a player today. Radek Faksa is a Dallas Star yet again, signing 2 years. Let me get the exact numbers.
It's 3 years, $6 million. 3 years, $6 million, $2 million a year.
Against the cap. He's 31. It's a little steep for a player like Faksa, in my opinion. But this is a guy who's shown that he's a decent bottom 6 guy. I think he adds some character to the room. He cares. I'm just a huge Radek Faksa guy. I think he steps into he's not quite what Dodonov is, but I think they're going to have a similar impact on the team as a whole.
That's exactly
especially
what I'm
with
thinking.
Yeah, exactly. It feels like the same type of guy.
Yeah, that's exactly.
I'm not asking him to score.
Little less production. He's like a 15 to 20 points per season guy.
But he's a guy, and we've seen this a handful of times throughout his career. He's gonna score a big goal. That's the Radek Faksa thing. He scores big goals. Not many of them, but he's a guy that can step up in those moments.
And what did Evgeny Dodonov do? Scored big goals when you weren't expecting them.
Not many, but he scored big goals.
Not many, but sometimes.
It's a weird comparison.
When he scored them, they were crucial.
Yes. He understood the pressure of playing in the NHL playoffs. I think Faksa does as well. A lot of games under his belt. Radek Faksa, to me, feels like he's 50 for some reason. He's only 31. He just has the face of a grizzled vet. And it's crazy to think last time he was here, he was like under 30.
Yeah, I mean, talking to him, I didn't think of that. I didn't even realize that when you were around him in the locker room. He seemed like one of those older guys. But I think it's a good ad, not just from on the ice, but Jim Nill mentioned it. His leadership. I mean, he's
a great voice.
He's an experienced guy. He's been around this team. He knows exactly what his job is going to be coming in here, regardless of who the coach is, because it hasn't changed his entire career.
The guy's
exactly the type of guy they need. He's. I mean, we talked about him with Dodonov, but he's also almost like a Blackwell type of impact.
Yeah, and speaking of Blackwell, he's back. and what is a really good number for Blackwell. Giving him that second year brings his cap down to a 775. Just
I
a
think
good
that second year really helped bring him back. I think there were probably some teams out there that were willing to give him a higher average salary for 1 year, but he came back with the second year, brings Dallas back. I mean, he probably wants to stick around. I mean, the only other time, well, he's only stuck around with 2 other teams for more than 1 year, and it was Nashville at the beginning of his career, and then Chicago the last couple.
He's a journeyman.
So
Colin Blackwell's played for every team.
Right. And when you find, as a journeyman player, when you find a team that you fit well with and that you can stay longer with, you tend to want to stay longer and not have to move around so much and be that veteran nomad.
For the type of player he is, right? I love Colin Blackwell. You seem to be a big Colin Blackwell guy. He's 32. And with the type of player he is, you can sign a 1-year deal. That 1 year next year might not happen. So that security for him going forward is really big.
Yeah, I mean, Foxa, Blackwell, and I guess Oscar Beck on that fourth line is a pretty solid fourth. It's not.
I love it.
It's not pretty offensively in terms of scoring goals. But those are guys that do the little things exactly how you want them to do it. Can play, shorthanded. Can play. You're not going to see them on the power play. Can play shorthanded and 5-on-5, and not be the overly productive offensive guys, but for the pretty good in terms of playing on both ends of the ice, in terms of setting things up and doing what they're asked to do.
And they're, like we've talked about, they're all guys who, at least Blackwell scored an overtime winner in the playoffs. Fax has scored some big playoff goals for the Stars. I expect them to be they'll be solid. You can trust them when they're on the ice, fourth line. But they can grab you a goal when you need one. You're not scared to put them on the ice. And that's super valuable. When last year we talked, the depth is so good. And then we get to May and the depth is gone. So I feel a little bit more confident with Faxa back. Dodonov leaving does suck. He signs a 1 year, $1 million with the New Jersey Devils, which it feels like the Stars could have afforded that. But
that's what I thought. When I looked at that, and I saw that, I was like, if you would have told me he was signing that contract, I would have told you he was staying in Dallas. But
exactly.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I mean,
do you know what contract the Dallas Stars would not have signed?
There's probably a few of them.
Yeah. If you have a bad defenseman, a decently bad defenseman most of the time, and you saw him making $3 million, would you go, let's give him 4? Cody Ceci.
I know one man who would.
One man
who would, who did.
Yes, Cody Ceci's an LA King. 4 years, $4.5 million. I've watched so many games of Cody Ceci. I've seen Cody Ceci score points. Not once in my entire life have I thought, man, I'm going to give Cody Ceci $4 million. I think that's a good idea. I would slap anyone who thinks that's a good idea. It's just the LA Kings, and I want to talk about them for just a little bit here, started off their day, in my opinion, great. Corey Perry to the Kings is such we're going to get past them. This is the guy that's going to help us not lose to the Oilers, because that's what's in their minds. LA losing to Edmonton, 3 or 4 years consecutively in the first round. Corey Perry is the type of guy you bring into your locker room to try to get over a hump like that. You do not follow up a great signing in Corey Perry with Cody Ceci, and on top of that, they gave Brian Dumoulin $3 million. And Brian Dumoulin at least is a little better in his own end, but this is a 33-year-old Brian Dumoulin who is many years removed from being the defensive anchor to Chris Letang that he was for several years. I don't know what LA is doing. This feels like they were going in a faster direction. It feels like the last few years. You know, I think a guy that really sticks out to me on the team, I love a player like Trevor Moore, and I think that's the kind of vibe that LA gives me. We can be a little bit quicker. Why are you making your defense this? What is the end goal of doing this? It's just you purposely go out and get two bad players and give them mountains of cash. What did you tell me about the money for Cody Ceci before we recorded?
Oh yeah, he's making the same amount as Matt Duchene this year. His contract is the exact same. Well, I mean, I've obviously haven't seen the language, but in terms of overall annual value and term, yeah, he's making he's making $4.5 million a year for 4
Imagine
years, like Matt Duchene is with the Stars.
You're a general manager, and you've got exactly $4.5 million on your cap. Your team's set up, and you can add one more guy just to get a little bit better. And your two options are Matt Duchene and Cody Ceci. You're wild for taking Cody Ceci. And these two guys get the exact same deal. Now, there is some caveats to that. Of course, Duchene is a re-sign, so that number naturally is lower. Ceci on the open market is going to bring his contract up a little bit. Being on the open market does not make Cody Ceci a $4.5 million player. If I could wake up tomorrow and say I'm an NHL free agent, that does not mean someone's going to give me a lot of money. And that's kind of what happened with Cody Ceci. Like, to me, he's a league min player that should not be in your lineup most nights. Why there seems to be this line of general managers who's like, I think I can be the one to fix him.
Well,
he's 31. What is there to fix?
All I was thinking when they signed him was, well, Kings fans, welcome to the Ken Holland experience. I mean, that's he's a Hall of Fame GM, but in the cap era, he's made some really bad signings.
Yeah.
I mean, 2013, I remember Red Wings were in conversations about Ryan Suter and Zach Parise when they were in their primes and making both those guys end up in Minnesota, and the Red Wings end up losing Valtteri Filppula and then signing Stephen Weiss as his replacement to a 5-year, $25 million contract.
Just stop him. There are so many GMs, and the team that sticks out to me is a team like Vancouver was like this, and obviously the Red Wings were like this. There are some GMs who are really, really good, but someone needs to take their phone on July 1st.
He also, trade-wise, he also traded a first-round pick and a player for Kyle Quincy in a 3-team trade.
Oh, my God.
Plus, here's the kicker. The Red Wings are still paying Justin Abdelkader going into this season because of the contract that Ken Holland gave him.
Do you want to know how bad that
Justin Abdelkader hasn't played in the NHL since before COVID.
I was about to say, I don't remember the last time I've heard Justin Abdelkader's name. Yeah. And the Red Wings are giving him money. This is just...
They're still paying him.
Sorry, Stars fans, that this has turned to a Ken Holland hate episode, but this is bad.
It's just a couple minutes of however long.
Yeah, it's bad. What do you... you're on the team. The Kings are good.
He was a really good GM pre-cap era. Once
anybody could be a good GM.
Exactly.
If I could just throw money, he was the GM of the Red Wings before the cap, right? Before I say something
before the cap and during and slightly briefly during.
Anyone with half a brain cell could have led Detroit to Stanley Cups before the cap. They were willing just to buy anything that moved. If I could do that,
they did.
I'm just going to get the best players. That's what GM was.
Their third line in 2002 had Brett Hull and Pavel Datsyuk on it.
It's just stupid. Anyone could do that, and he's proven time and time and time again. He is not good at the cap era. He has no idea how the salary cap works. or just budgeting. Because what you don't do on July 1st, you just gave Cody Ceci and Brian Dumoulin a combined $9.5 million for the next 3 years. And then Cody Ceci's going to have an extra year after that. $9.5 million, almost about 10% of your cap after it goes up is given to Cody Ceci and Brian Dumoulin. What a wild July 1st for them. Wild.
Man, when you put it that way, it sounds so much worse.
What we don't talk about enough when we talk about free agents in any contract is that percentage of cap. Because that means more than the actual number. Because you can say, man, Sidney Crosby signed that $8.7 million contract when he was young. That was a bargain. No, at the time, that was like 20% of the salary cap. You have to look at what his number is in relation to what the cap is. Over 10% of their cap next year is to these two players. Just, I love it. I love it. It makes the Western Conference easier. Because I really think
it does.
That those two signings make them worse. A few other real notable signings from today. I'm trying to think. Trying to look through the list here. Oh, yeah, Corey Perry, just while we're there. 1 year, 3.5. It's a real bonus-laden contract, so he's really – that number is much lower than 3.5 against the actual Bucks. Mitch Marner gets that 8.12 in Vegas. That era kind of comes to an end in Toronto, turning a new leaf. The question now with that is, how does Vegas keep doing this? It feels like every offseason they're giving out this massive contract.
It's kind of like Florida. Kind of. It's from a cap standpoint, it's not, but because Florida's not giving out all these big contracts, but somehow they're finding ways to add guys. That's how it's like Florida.
Are you ready for a playoff series against a line of Jack Eichel and Mitch Marner? Exactly.
It depends which team I am.
I'm excited for the defense pair of Brian Dumoulin and Cody Ceci to have to go up against that, because
that's gonna be
alive.
Rough. Yeah, that one's gonna be rough.
But Edmonton is just terrifying with that combo. Yes, he got a lot of hate when he was in Toronto, but Mitch Marner's an extremely talented player, 100-plus point. I assume his point totals will probably go up in Vegas.
Yeah.
Just crazy what's going on there. Like we kind of started off with the top. The story of this was guys signing long-term deals and them being re-signs. A little shout out, Logan Stankoven got his money today.
He did.
It's a great deal for the team. He signs 8 years, $6 million. If I'm Logan, I don't know why I signed that. Because we've been talking for so long, man, the cap's about to skyrocket. It's going up like $15 million in the next 3 years. So you're locking up for the longest you possibly can at 6. Something tells me in the next 8 years, Logan Stankoven's going to be more than a $6 million player.
Yeah, he will be. He might be regretting that, but I feel like they're backloading a lot of these deals. I haven't seen like the language and everything, and what the details in the years to come with his deal.
We got the announcement of the new CBA recently, and a lot of the loopholes behind LTIR and even backloading deals have went away. So I don't know why GMs went, man, it's going to be these really terrible long-term contracts are going to go away. So let me sign a bunch.
Sign more people to them. Yeah.
Let me sign a bunch.
Sign them while I can.
I swear, I don't know what it takes to be an NHL GM sometimes, because some of the things they do, it's
I'm glad I don't, because I wouldn't want that. Too much pressure.
Too much pressure, but I don't think is there really that much pressure? Because I feel like there's some GMs who just do whatever they feel like doing that morning. with no clear direction.
It depends what team you are, what market you're in, what your reputation is, et cetera, et cetera. Too many factors.
Another really big deal that went through towards the end of the day. Keandre Miller gets traded to the Carolina Hurricanes. That team is tired of losing 8 years at $7.5 million. So great deal for the 24-year-old. The Rangers are kind of blowing it up over there. They're very much moving on. We've seen Trouba leave. We've seen a long list of names leave the Rangers. So it's a great new opportunity for Keandre Miller. Maybe Carolina wins more than one game in the Eastern Conference Final over like 4 attempts.
We'll see.
We're starting to get a really good gauge of what next season's starting to look like. Are Florida Panthers just going to three-peat? Is that what's happening?
I think that's the feel around the league.
Yeah, it's.
Even the cap couldn't break them up at this point. That's the
they're
terrifying thing.
What do we need to do? What do you need to do to beat them? Because like the other good teams in the Eastern Conference are so like far back. Like the Hurricanes do get better with Keandre Miller. They're not going to beat Florida.
Mm-mm.
You think the Leafs are going to beat Florida now? No. Tampa's gotten
worse. Getting rid of Marner, you're going to beat Florida? Nope.
No. The only way that Toronto was going to be able to beat Florida is if they got Marchand.
Yeah.
And it seems like they put all their eggs in the basket, and look at the Leafs now. They did nothing today. Like, you got...
A lot of people did nothing, honestly. Yeah.
So many people did nothing. Like... of course, everybody made a little tiny signing here.
That's the way the market was, though. There was nothing, like no big signing to go after once the start of free agency actually hit.
Yeah, and we still have one kind of big fish still left remaining. Nikolai Ehlers is still a free agent, and it is currently 6:16 Central, so 7:16 to the majority of hockey fans. I've heard it's going to go until tomorrow.
Yeah, I believe Friedman said they weren't going to hear anything today.
Which is like, why? I never understood that. Because it's like you had the last month to make up your mind about this. And you're technically not allowed to speak to the free agents until July 1st. But let's be real here, and they all talk to each other.
Yeah.
Why do you need the extra day? Does it make that much of a difference?
To be honest, the why is he could take as long as he wants if he chooses. He's the most sought after free agent right now. Like he's the biggest name available right now.
No, there's been some overpays today. Yeah. But no one's really getting stupid bank except Marner, which he's going to make money.
Yeah.
$12 million is not an overpay.
Remember what Nashville did on July 1st last year? They went crazy.
We need to sit down at some point and do a proper retrospective of Nashville woke up on July 1st last year and did a line of coke and just did whatever they wanted. They were just like, there's a good player available, give him how much does he want, give it to him. But he doesn't really work I don't care. Get him. Get everybody. And it didn't work. Nashville was bad.
At all.
Somehow they had a lower end team, and they added Stamkos, Ryan O'Reilly, and Jonathan Marchessault all on the same day, and every one of those players was bad. They were all bad. None of them were.
Everybody was handing them a playoff berth, yeah.
And they should have look at that roster, yeah. But it turns out Barry Trotz is not a GM. He's not. He was a great coach, Hall of Fame coach, but his reputation as GM is really going to take that going forward.
That's unfortunate.
It has been bad. It has been really bad. And it's not like Wayne Gretzky where we can just forget you were a coach. No, you're doing bad, bro. And you followed up David Poile, who had a reputation for being one of the most well-respected general managers in the NHL, and you're doing a terrible job. Terrible.
Yeah. To get through.
Man, we're bad. So let's just get old, declining players. Attaboy, Barry.
Some GMs operate like that. Don't
Yeah.
know why. But expiring contracts to buy time for the prospects, I guess.
Looking forward, I think there's going to be two kind of major stories that we're going to see throughout this season. This is looking like it's going to be one of the most sought-after first overall picks in probably since McDavid. This is the Gavin McKenna year. Expect the bad teams to be awful.
Bad.
Everybody is going to be doing everything they can to get bad. That's probably what slowed down today as well.
Possibly.
If you don't think you're going to make the playoffs, even if you think you're a fringe playoff team, you benefit from giving yourself a shot, Adam.
Yeah. And I am so glad my alma mater is in the final two for McKenna's commitment. Oh,
yes. What's his final two? He's going to college for his last year.
He's down to Penn State and Michigan State.
Oh, and college hockey with the new rules has really become a viable option for NHL prospects more than ever before. It's great for the game.
They're going to be bringing more Canadian players in now.
Yeah,
so
I love
crazy,
it.
But he's I mean, Penn State, newer program, Michigan State, back-to-back number 1 overall seeds in the NCAA tournament, Big Ten championships.
Beautiful.
Got the reigning Hobie Baker Award winner. Had 2 first-round picks.
Gavin McKenna makes that team really scary.
Yeah. Oh, they're real scary. It's gonna be cool.
The second plot line. It's July 1st, which means that players who are on their last deal of their contract are eligible for an extension. The Edmonton Oilers just had a timer start, which is a doomsday clock. Connor McDavid is eligible for an extension officially as of noon Eastern today. He didn't sign one. And I don't think he's going to sign one till next offseason. Every team in the league has a plan, Connor McDavid, which is Connor McDavid said he wants to play here. So these are the players that we're trading to make the money work to get Connor McDavid on our team.
Right.
Every team has to consider it.
It's the McDavid McKenna sweepstakes.
Do you want to create the most appealing pitch in the world to get Connor McDavid, or do you want to be the worst team imaginable to try to get Gavin McKenna? It's a wild season that we're about to see. Florida's going to run away during the regular season. Like, they're the best team in the NHL. This past year, they will be next year. But, Connor McDavid, I think McDavid's leaving the Oilers, personally. His press conference where it's like, yeah, we've built a lot here. I'm really proud of this organization. I love being here. But then he says, well, on the other hand, I have to consider what's best for me and my family. Oh, he does not want to stay. That's what that means. He wants out. And someone's going to give him stupid money.
I've thought that when other players have said it and they've re-signed with their teams. So, I don't know how much that means.
So, how many years did they waste?
A lot.
Like, absolutely wasted.
Yeah.
And they finally get him the team. And he loses 2 straight years of the same team. And they got... Look, they came back from the 3-1 deficit last year. They did not look like they had a chance.
No. And they got worse this offseason. They got worse today, honestly.
Yes, Evander Kane's not there. That's wild. That whole situation.
Arvidsson's gone. Yeah.
Yeah, for just a third. Boston's weird. But it's...
Boston did add former Stars prospect, Blue Mel.
Oh, yeah.
On a 1-year deal. I think that, I mean, the appeal for that was probably, honestly, he's going to make the NHL roster over there. And he's probably barely going to have a chance here if he even did.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. It gets a guy an opportunity. I love teams that are like, yeah, we love you as a prospect, but it makes more sense for everybody involved to let's move you somewhere, get you a fresh opportunity, and we can kind of get an asset back. Now, it doesn't work necessarily when it's a free agent. Like, the Stars don't benefit from this. But, hey, he gets a new opportunity. Happy for the guy. There's definitely a backlog at forward in Dallas, especially with, like,
has been for a while.
Fourth liners. It's like, man, guys who are good enough to get into the lineup when we need them. But we have so many dudes who are, we're fine with them being in the lineup. But, like, not excited.
I actually like how that lineup looks right now, honestly.
I'm happy with it.
It doesn't look too bad.
The things that I think they do going forward, expect a Dumba or Labushkin trade.
Yeah. That's one thing we should have brought up with Fox, that contract screamed, we don't have this much. They didn't have that kind of money to give him. So that screamed one of these defensemen or both of them is out of here.
Yeah, the Stars are about $1.92 million over the cap right now, and that needs to come down. So that's your final number.
Yeah, it's $1,794,960.
That's a little off. Yeah, so $1.8 million over the cap.
1.8-ish. Yeah.
So expect that move to come here. I would assume fairly shortly. You kind of no GM's going to pick up their phone in August. Yeah. So that done quickly.
It could be quickly, but Jim Nill today, when he was asked about it, said that they have till October to solve that. So may not be quickly given those comments.
Yeah, but Jim is so good at not answering the question.
Oh yeah,
Jim is so good at it. Yeah. But do you have anything more before we kind of wrap it up today?
I don't think so.
Am I forgetting anything? There's so many smaller things happening. I don't want to gloss over anything accidentally.
I mean, we hit on the signings, we hit on the departures, we hit on the
Gulutzan. Yeah, I think that wraps us up.
I think that's all there was.
Yeah. So we really appreciate everyone listening and all the support. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, follow, rate, whatever you do on your platform really helps us out. We'll be back probably when there's news at some point. There might be something Stars related. If there's a trade coming up, we'll do a little short episode for you. But we really appreciate you listening, and you enjoy the rest of your day.